The truth is simple. The government shutdown could have been over right now. Paychecks could be going out, essential services could be running, but instead, Chuck Schumer and the Democrats walked up to the line for the 13th time and voted no. They would rather keep the lights off than agree to anything that doesn't give them exactly what they want. And that right there tells you everything you need to know about the Democrats' priorities. The kicker? Even in this disastrous shutdown, CNN just now dropped polling that still gives Republicans an edge. Welcome back, and if you're new, this is going to be a good one, so make sure you like, comment, and consider subscribing for daily news updates. It means the world to me, and don't forget to share. Let's start with this clip of CNN dropping new polls showing that the GOP is standing its ground. Watch this.
Have affected their political standing.
Yeah, you might think, given that the Republicans are in charge of both the House and the Senate, that a government shutdown might actually hurt the Republican brand. But in fact, it hasn't. If anything, it's been helped a little bit. Take a look here, the shift in net popularity versus pre-shutdown. When we're looking at the Republican Party overall, that brand actually up 2 points. That's within the margin of error, but clearly it hasn't dropped. Come over to this side of the screen. Look at the net approval ratings for Republicans in Congress. It's actually up 5 points since pre-shutdown. So what we're seeing here is the Republican brand in Congress has actually improved somewhat compared to where we were pre-shutdown, despite the fact that Republicans control. And that's the math that John Thune and Mike Johnson are looking at is, well, hey, why should we give an electorally speaking when our brand has actually improved a little bit?
Now, we say their position is getting better. With whom?
Yeah, okay, with whom? So I think it's two groups that it's so important to keep an eye on. All right, change in the Republican Congress's net approval rating versus pre-shutdown. It's rallying the base for sure. Look at this, the net approval rating up 12 points versus pre-shutdown. But it's not just with the base. It's also with the middle of the electorate. Look at this, among independents. It's up 8 points as well. So we've got a situation here where Republicans with the shutdown are actually rallying their base, but it's also something that's not hurting them with the folks in the middle. If anything, it's helping them with folks in the middle. And this is the type of math that if you're Republicans, you like to see, right? Because something could rally the base but alienate those in the middle, or something could rally those in the middle but alienate the base. But the truth is, we're not seeing that. What we're seeing is the Republican brand has actually gotten better among independents, and it's also gotten better among Republicans as well, that Republican brand when it comes to those in Congress. So again, what's the electoral reason that Republicans would give in at this point?
And Democrats, of course, they have their eyes on the midterm elections. Yeah, we have elections 1 week from today, but what Democrats in Congress are mostly focused on are 1 year and 1 week from today from the midterm. So how are they positioned right now?
Yeah, so I mean, look, the generic congressional ballot, which traditionally Democrats have done really well on, and if you look at this point back when Trump was president the first time around, Democrats are up 11 points. Look at where it is now. Democrats are ahead, but they're actually only up 3 points. This is, in fact, the worst position Democrats have been on in a generic ballot at this point in midterm when there was a Republican president.
So as you can see, since the Republicans are in control of Congress right now, many would think that their numbers would be down. But instead, looking at the GOP polling overall and in progress of the whole thing before shutdown, they're actually rising in their points. They are steady growing. They're not even baseline. So that tells you something very important. A lot of the people in Congress are starting to see this is the way we need to go. Another thing I would like to point out is that with the Republicans going up in numbers, they are also influencing the rest of the people. Now the Republicans are at 8 points with the independents, who are seeing which sides they're kind of leaning to and seeing what's happening with the Republicans in Congress currently. So that makes you ask the question, why would the Republicans cave if they're holding their ground and doing very well? Another point to mention, and perhaps more shocking, is that the Democrats are in the worst position they have been in the last 20 years. Right now, they are at 3 points. They have never been that low, even since the other time President Trump was running the country in presidency and had control of Congress. So that begs the question then, what is truly going on? There has to be a bigger problem that is surrounding all of the behavior and actions that the Democrats are doing and the suffering that they're putting the United States citizens through. It sounds like instead of pushing all their energy on the Republicans, they need to focus on themselves and their own party and their own party's priorities. Next, I want to look at another shocking clip of Mike Johnson calling out Schumer once again and calling out the shutdown exactly for what it is. Look at this.
It has now become very clear for everyone. I want to use a little simple, Lily, if you show me this real quick. Just real quick, simple facts, because these things get obscured too much. But there are simple facts about the Democrat shutdown that everybody needs to recognize. Here's 4 of them. First of all, we have to have Democrats to reopen the government. You know that in the Senate, it requires 60 votes to break an impasse. Wait, hang on, Lily, hold it real here. Keep it close to the podium. I want everybody to see this, okay? We're going to make it simple. I had my 15-year-old son and some of his friends were together over the weekend, and they wanted me to explain it to them as simply as possible. This is the little formulation, okay? Hey, fellas, remember from civics, you got to have 60 votes in the Senate. We only have 53 Republicans, so we must have Democrats to do it. The Democrats are out trying to claim that this is all on Republicans because we control the government. We don't control the Senate without 60 votes, so you have to have them. Now they've voted 13 times, those Senate Democrats, counting the House and the Senate together, they voted 13 times to keep the government closed. And what they're demanding as a ransom to reopen the government are some really crazy things. They want to restore $200 billion in health benefits paid for by U.S. taxpayers to illegal aliens and non-citizens. We can't do that. They want billions of dollars in wasteful programs to be returned to foreign countries for things that none of you would agree with. We are not going to do that. They want $500 million to go back to left-leaning news organizations, paid for by taxpayers. We can't do that. And then they want to cut $50 billion from the Rural Hospital Fund that Republicans got signed into law July 4th to prop up health care in red states and rural areas around the country. It's too important, but they want to take that away. They know that we can't do it.
Mike Johnson makes it very, very clear. He lays it out on a bulletin board for everyone to understand in the most simplest terms. He had his children ask him, what is going on and what's the problem? So he used that board to break it down in simple words. They need the Democrats' votes to reopen the government. They're not getting it because the Democrats have voted no for the 13th time. And the Democrats also refuse to fund the government unless they restore certain things that the Democrats are asking for, such as almost $200 billion for health care for undocumented migrants, billions of dollars for wasteful programs that aren't even in America, they're in foreign countries, $500 million to left-leaning news stations, and they want to cut $50 billion from rural hospitals. Mike Johnson is never going to allow billions and billions of dollars to go to these programs that really don't deserve it. The Democrats are using the pain that they are putting everyone through as leverage, and they don't feel bad about it. They are proud to admit it and proud to keep it going, because if they weren't, the government would be opened right now. 2 points that really stick out to me is the $200 billion going to healthcare for people who aren't American citizens. Yes, everyone does need help, but why can't that $200 billion go to the Americans who need it? And we know for a fact that there are a lot of Americans who definitely need it. Another thing I want to point out is taking the money away from rural hospitals. Rural is the key word. It means that it's in areas that are already scarce. Things are far away. You're cutting hospital money for the only hospitals in the area. That is going to put so many people's health in danger. I could understand if our economy was in great standing where we can help others because we already helped ourselves, but that's not our reality as America. We are in trouble ourselves too. We can't just give out help when we don't have it. I want to look at Fox News and Senator John Thune exposing that Democratic members are wanting to cave in on backroom negotiations. Take a look at this.
Well, I think there are people who are sincerely want to get this figured out.
Have they
on the
told
Democrat
you
side.
that they're ready? They're about ready?
There are, and of course the challenge is the Democrat leadership could care less about this. And Chuck Schumer, they're in a box. I mean, like I said, they are running scared of the far left in this country right now. And that characterizes a whole bunch of Senate Democrats too. But there are some rank and file Democrats, I believe, and we have had, as you said, back channel conversations that have been going on for some time that have intensified here of late. And hopefully that will lead to a breakthrough. But that's what it's going to take. It's going to take rank and file Democrats who organically come to the conclusion that this doesn't make sense for them, politically long term for them either. I don't think this is a winning issue.
John Thune gives us some insight. He says that there are Democratic members who want to figure this out and get the government reopened. But instead, they have to stand behind Chuck Schumer and the rest of the people that are on the far left and do what they are saying. And with John Thune being a senator, he's able to have all of the ins and outs that's really going behind it that we don't know about as American citizens. And one point he said was that the Democratic leadership they are the ones who could care less about fixing it. The members a part of it, they are wanting to fix it. They just can't. Lastly, I want to look at top House Representative August Pfluger drop a truth nuke in the House.
Have you not listened to your local communities telling you to stop the nonsense? No. You know what? They're not there. They're in New York City campaigning for Mamdani. Maybe they've orchestrated this so that they had the time to go campaign for an outright socialist. Maybe this was orchestrated so they could go do that. No, this isn't the party of JFK anymore. This is the party of Schumer and Mamdani, the party that bows to the radical left. I hope that everybody can see the split screen of what's happening in this country. The Speaker has so eloquently talked about the fact that Republicans are doing our job to take care of families, that over 13 times the Senate Republicans have voted to fund our military, to fund TSA, to make sure...
Listening to Pfluger, he says that maybe the possibility could have been that the Democrats planned all of this. They orchestrated the shutdown so that they could campaign for Mamdani and have everything aligning up the exact way they wanted it to. And yes, that is a bit extreme, but it begs the question, does it have some truth in it? Because it's aligning with a lot of the actions that we are seeing. Another point I want to draw attention to is that Pfluger also said that the Republicans, they are doing their jobs. They are the ones who want the government back open. They want to make sure the federal workers in Border Patrol and TSA and our military are getting paid. They want to make sure that families are able to sustain themselves, have food and safety. While on the other hand, just what exactly are the Democrats doing? I don't have an answer for it. Do you? So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time on KW Lawholic.